So many developing guitarists that I talk to think the pentatonic scale is boring or too simple. But then we hear amazing players like Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassa, or Matteo Sasato rip through these incredible expressive lines using just those same 5 notes. The difference? Pros don't get stuck in boxes. They move fluidly up and down the neck. They use unexpected note groupings. And they even shift rhythmic subdivisions mid-phrase. In this video, I'll show you how they do it. And I'll show you how to practice so you can break out of the boxes and start getting these amazing sounds for yourself. If you're ready for a serious upgrade to your pentatonic playing, grab your favorite guitar and buckle in. We're going to turn you into a pentatonic badass. Let's go. The first step in our pentatonic transformation, we're going to get you used to moving up and down the fretboard diagonally. Diagonal pentatonic shapes on a guitar fretboard let us move up and down the neck while also going across it in a continuous diagonal path across the strings. This approach allows for fluid and seamless transition between positions. And as a result, the boxes kind of disappear and the type of licks we can play immediately start to sound more fluid. We're going to be using E minor pentatonic today, and there are 2 diagonal patterns that you absolutely have to know. Now, E minor pentatonic has the notes E, G, A, B, and D. And the first diagonal pattern starts on the A note. We're going to play A and B at frets 5 and 7 of the low E string, D and E at frets 5 and 7 of the A string, and G and A at frets 5 and 7 of the D string. And here's where we start to move diagonally. We're going to slide into fret 9 of the D string, which is a B note. So we just played 3 notes on the D string. And that's secret number 1 to busting out of the box type licks. Playing 3 notes on some strings instead of the standard 2 notes per string, which is how we typically learn the boxes. This is what is going to allow us to start blending and combining patterns. Next, we're going to play D and E at frets 7 and 9 of the G string, G and A at frets 8 and 10 of the B string, and then slide into B at fret 12. So there's another transition point. We're going to play D and E at frets 10 and 12 of the E string and slide up to G at the 15th fret to finish things off. That entire pattern sounds like this. And just playing through it slowly, hearing the shifts and covering that much of the fretboard, I'm already starting to hear the possibilities. The second diagonal pattern starts on the flat 7 or D in the case of E minor. So we've got D and E at frets 10 and 12 of the low E, G and A at frets 10 and 12 of the A string, and then we're going to slide into the B at fret 14. The pattern repeats at frets 12 and 14 of the D and G strings, and then we slide into B again at fret 16 of the G string. And the pattern repeats once more at frets 15 and 17 of the B and E strings, and we finish by sliding into the B at fret 19. And that entire pattern sounds like this. Okay, now we've got these 2 diagonal patterns. Let me show you a cool way to use one of the box pattern to connect those 2 patterns and cover pretty much the entire fretboard. And then we're going to get into some tricks with sequences, rhythms, and subdivisions that are going to make us sound more like Eric Johnson, Eric Gales, or Joe Bonamassa. We're going to get into that first diagonal pattern by playing the open E, the G at fret 3 with our index finger, the A at fret 5 with our 3rd finger, and slide into B at fret 7. Now we're in position to ascend through the scale all the way up to the G at fret 15 of the high E string. Next, we're going to descend through the first position of E minor pentatonic here at the 12th position. When we get to E at fret 12 of the E string, slide down to the D at fret 10. And now we're in position to ascend through the second diagonal pattern. And we play all the way up to the B at fret 19 of the high E string. Here's that entire pattern connecting the diagonal shapes with the box shape. So we haven't done any tricks yet, we're just ascending and descending through patterns. But we've already hit upon another secret of great players. The way they get the sound of what people call cascades is a mixture of ascending and descending lines. In this case, we ascend to a certain point, then we descend, then we ascend again to an even higher point on the fretboard. That ability to smoothly change directions and just sort of flow up and down is the basis for that cascading sound. So now it's time for some of those tricks that are going to take us to a next level yet. Let's create some sequences out of those patterns to accentuate that forward and back feeling. The first one I want you to get down is this one, ascending through the diagonal patterns. Starting on the D at fret 5 of the A string, we're going to play D, E, G, and A at frets 5 and 7 of both the A and D strings. And then we're going to go back to the E note. After that E, we go to the D string and we play G and A and slide up into B. Now we can play the same pattern on the G and B strings. And if we go to our second diagonal pentatonic pattern, we can play that sequence in 3 octaves on the low E and A strings, on the D and G strings, and on the B and E strings. Sequence number 2, and you'll love this if you're a fan of Eric Johnson or Joe Bonamassa, we're going to descend through E minor pentatonic pattern 1 in a sequence of 5-note groupings. I'm going to show you some different ways to play the 5s too, but let's start with the most simple way. Starting at the G at fret 15 of the high E string, play frets 15 and 12 on the E and B, and then fret 14 on the G string. Now we go back to fret 15 on the B string and descend 5 notes again, this time ending on fret 14 of the D string. Go back to fret 14 of the G string, descend 5 notes to fret 14 of the A string. Go back to fret 14 of the D string, descend 5 notes to the G at fret 15 of the low E. Then we go back to fret 14 of the A string and descend 4 notes, this time to the E at fret 12 of the E string. That entire sequence sounds like this. And now we're in a perfect position to play the sequence with a diagonal pentatonic pattern starting at fret 10. So let's do that. We're going to descend through our sequence of 5s, and then ascend through our diagonal sequence. Okay, that's starting to sound awesome. Let's put that together with our first diagonal pattern. Remember, we lead into it with that open E, G, A, and B. Sequence number 1. Next octave. And now we've got the D and E notes on the high E. Shift up to the 12th position. We play our descending 5s. And now we drop down to the 10th position and we've got 3 octaves of our ascending diagonal sequence. Sweet. So let's talk picking and rhythm. There are a number of ways that you can pick both of these sequences. Let's start with the fives. Famously, Eric Johnson picks these by alternate picking the first four notes, so down, up, down, up. And he plays the fifth note with a downstroke and then uses that same downstroke to play the first note of the next grouping of fives. Now that picking motion, it's a big part of Eric's sound, and you can really hear it in how it causes him to accent certain notes. But I find it incredibly awkward. There's wasted motion there because he's creating a loop over the third string to play that downstroke. I'm not going to second guess one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm just saying I find it awkward. Even more awkward, Joe Bonamassa and Andy Wood alternate pick these patterns. That's insane. Eric Gales does it differently yet, using pull-offs, and this is how I originally learned to play these, and sometimes I still do this. We're going to play the first note with a downstroke and pull off, play the third note with an upstroke and pull off, and play the fifth note with an upstroke also. This sets you up to play the first note of the next group of five with a downstroke, and we can carry on through the entire pattern like that. But here's the way I play these now when I want the sound of picking every note. I'm going to alternate pick the first four notes, so down, up, and then I'm going to play the fifth note with that same upstroke. And I find that way more efficient because we don't have to make that loop over the string to pick that fifth note. And it sets us up perfectly to start the next grouping with a downstroke. Give that a try. And how about the diagonal sequence? Probably the easiest way to play it is with a downstroke and a hammer-on, another downstroke and a hammer-on, followed by an upstroke, then a downstroke, hammer-on, and slide. If I'm going for that pick every note sound, I use economy picking. Down, up on the first four notes, and then use that same upstroke to play the fifth note. Then down, up, down on the last three notes. Now the pick is in a perfect position to play the first note of the next octave with that same downstroke. Here's the entire phrase combining our three patterns and the different sequences, picking every note. And I'm going to play these as even 16th notes. How about practice drills? Well, here's a few variations. The first one is to get us used to moving between pentatonic patterns and to get us used to the rhythmic patterns that we have to play as we move these things around. If we go up to E minor pattern 1 at the 12th position, and we're going to start on the G note at the 12th fret of the G string, we're going to play ascending sequences of fives. So that's going to be four notes ascending, and then going back to play the last note on the previous string again. We can get in two groupings of five, and then a grouping of two before we shift up to pattern 2 and play a descending grouping of five, followed by a grouping of 4. And here's where we can start to play around with subdivisions. For instance, we could play straight 16th notes. Or we could play two quintuplets, followed by 2 16th notes, another quintuplet, a 16th note triplet, and our ending note. That feels more Eric Johnson-ish to me. And we want to take that all the way up and down the fretboard, starting with each pentatonic box. We can also practice moving these sequences across 3 pentatonic patterns. Starting with the G on fret 12 of the G string in E minor pattern 1, let's play a sequence of 5. We're going to play the B and D on the B string and shift up to E, and then play G and A at frets 15 and 17 of the high E string for our second grouping of 5. Then shift again to the B at fret 19. We're going to play B and A, and then G and E at frets 20 and 17 of the B string, and then D at fret 19 of the G string. And we're going to finish that sequence by playing frets 20 and 17 of the B string, and then frets 19 and 16 of the G string. We want to practice starting that sequence in each of the 5 pentatonic patterns. Lastly, we're going to practice playing through 2 adjacent pentatonic boxes with our sequences of 5s, first ascending and then descending. Ascending, we start a group of 5 on each string from the low E to the B. Then we play 2 notes on the high E string before shifting up to the next pattern, and now we're going to descend in 5s. And we're going to start a grouping on each string from the high E to the D. When we get to the A string, we're going to play a grouping of 4. And again, we want to practice until we're able to start with any one of the 5 pentatonic boxes. And that, my friends, is a pretty massive pentatonic workout. The big picture I'm trying to bring into focus is that some of the most legendary players have used this simple 5-note scale to create beautiful, amazing, expressive music, while a lot of, let's say, not so legendary players turn their nose up at it. These legendary players make pentatonic sound amazing by moving up and down and across the neck seamlessly and smoothly, and they weave in and out of different note groupings and subdivisions along the way. Hopefully this lesson is going to help you get some of these characteristics into your playing, and I hope you go on and develop your own monster pentatonic licks. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already yet. Work hard, play hard, have fun with that guitar. I'll see you soon.